Have you ever told yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow," and then watched days turn into months? What if I told you that this one habit quietly steals dreams, confidence, and even your future, without making any noise at all? Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they believe time will wait. In a world full of scrolling, notifications, and endless distractions, time slips away before we even notice. And once it's gone, it never comes back. Today's story isn't just motivation. It's a warning. A simple story, but a powerful one, shared here on English Story Archive for a reason. If you watch till the end, you'll walk away with one mindset shift that can change how you use every single day of your life. Stay with me. This might be the most important story you hear today. Time doesn't shout when it leaves. It doesn't warn us. It simply slips away, 1 minute at a time, while we are busy thinking we still have plenty of it. Most of us believe we'll start tomorrow. We think there will always be another chance, another day, another year. But time is not just numbers on a clock. Time slowly shapes who we become. The way we use it decides our future, our success, and even our happiness. People who respect time move forward in life. People who waste it often look back with regret. Here on English Story Archive, we share stories that quietly reflect real life. And this story is one of them. It may sound simple, but its message is deep. Because sometimes, one small delay is all it takes to lose something that never returns. Before we go deeper into this story, take a quick second to support English Story Archive. If stories that teach real-life lessons matter to you, gently tap the like button. And if you enjoy meaningful stories that stay with you long after the video ends, consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps these stories reach more people who may need to hear them today. And trust me, the lesson you're about to hear only gets more powerful as we move forward. Now, let's begin the story itself. Because what happened next changed one young life forever, and it may change the way you look at your time too. In a quiet village, there lived a young boy named Evan. He wasn't unkind. He wasn't unintelligent either. But he had one habit that slowly pulled his life backward. Evan always waited for tomorrow. Homework could wait. Responsibilities could wait. Even his dreams could wait. While others used their time to improve, Evan spent his days on things that didn't matter. Hours passed without purpose, and he barely noticed them leave. At first, the damage was small. A missed assignment. A scolding from a teacher. But over time, those small delays became heavy regrets. Evan started falling behind in school and in life. Deep down, he knew something was wrong, but he kept telling himself the same lie. There's still time. Evan's family noticed the change long before he did. His parents tried to guide him with patience. His teachers spoke to him again and again. They didn't shout. They didn't threaten. They simply reminded him that time once lost never returns. But Evan didn't listen. He believed advice was unnecessary. Every warning felt exaggerated. In his mind, the future was far away, and problems belonged to later. While others moved ahead, Evan stayed in the same place. Each delay made the next step harder. Confidence faded. Opportunities slipped by quietly. And without realizing it, Evan was building a life filled with almost and not yet. This is how time works. It doesn't punish loudly. It waits. And when the realization comes, it's often already too late. One afternoon, the village buzzed with quiet excitement. A respected elder had arrived, a man known not for wealth, but for wisdom. His name was Mr. Rowan. People said he had a way of explaining life that stayed with you forever. Villagers gathered around him, asking questions about success, failure, and purpose. Evan watched from a distance. For the first time in a long while, he felt something unfamiliar, curiosity mixed with fear. Everyone around him seemed to be moving forward, except him. When the crowd slowly faded, Evan stepped closer. His voice was low, almost ashamed. He admitted that he felt left behind, that no matter how much he tried, life seemed stuck. Mr. Rowan looked at him calmly, and instead of giving advice, he said something unexpected. Evan stood quietly as the words settled in. Then, slowly, he opened up. He admitted how far behind he felt, how his friends were improving, moving ahead, building futures, while he stayed in the same place. Each day felt heavier than the last. "I want to be better," he said honestly, "but somehow I keep wasting time. And now I don't know how to catch up." There was no anger in Mr. Rowan's eyes. No disappointment either. Only understanding. He listened without interrupting, as if he had heard this same pain many times before. After a short pause, he nodded gently. "You're not lost," he said. "You're just ignoring something very valuable." Then he took a breath and began a story, one that would make Evan see time in a way he never had before. Mr. Rowan's voice was calm, but firm. He spoke slowly, making sure every word carried weight. He told Evan about a powerful king from long ago, a ruler named King Alaric, known across the land for his kindness and fairness. King Alaric cared deeply for his people. He helped the poor, rewarded honesty, and believed everyone deserved a chance to rise. One day, fate brought an old classmate of the king to the palace. Once full of promise, this man had fallen into poverty and shame. He blamed luck. He blamed people. He blamed everything except his own habits. Listening to his complaints, the king felt sympathy, but also saw the real problem. And that was when the king decided to test something far more valuable than gold. The king studied his old friend for a long moment. Then he spoke in a calm, steady voice. He made an offer that most people could only dream of. Before the sun set that very day, the man could take as much gold and as many jewels as he wished from the royal treasury. Whatever he collected would belong to him forever. For a brief moment, the man felt hope rush through his body. This was his chance to change his life. One single day. One clear opportunity. All he had to do was act before time ran out. He thanked the king again and hurried home to share the news with his wife. Excitement filled the room. Wealth, respect, and comfort were finally within reach. But without realizing it, the most dangerous thought entered his mind. There's still plenty of time. Instead of leaving immediately, the man sat down. Hunger came first, he told himself. He believed a full stomach would help him think clearly. So he ate slowly, enjoying every bite, confident that the palace wasn't going anywhere. After the meal, his body felt heavy. A short rest wouldn't hurt, he thought. Just a few minutes. The sun was still high in the sky. Time felt generous. He lay down and closed his eyes, dreaming of wealth and praise. Minutes quietly turned into hours. When he finally woke up, the day had already begun to slip away. Even then, he wasn't afraid. He stretched, grabbed a few empty sacks, and smiled. "There's still time," he said again, unaware that time was already leaving him behind. The man finally stepped outside, heading toward the palace with slow confidence. The sun was strong, and the heat drained his energy. Halfway there, he felt tired. Just a short rest, he decided. Only for a moment. He sat beneath a tree where the air felt cool and gentle. The breeze was calming. His eyes grew heavy again. Without meaning to, he drifted into sleep. This time, it was deeper. When he opened his eyes, the light had changed. The sky was darker. Panic rushed through him as he stood up and ran as fast as he could toward the palace gates. But it was too late. The sun had set. The doors were closed. His golden opportunity was gone forever, not because of bad luck, but because he believed time would wait for him. The man stood there, frozen in front of the palace. His hands were empty. His heart was heavy. In that moment of silence, the truth finally hit him. The gold was never taken from him. The chance was never unfair. He had lost everything on his own. Not because he was unlucky. Not because the king was cruel. But because he treated time like it was endless. As Mr. Rowan finished the story, he looked directly at Evan. The boy hadn't said a word. His eyes were lowered, his thoughts racing. He finally understood what the story was really about. The treasure wasn't gold, Mr. Rowan said softly. The treasure was time. And once it's gone, no power on earth can bring it back. The words stayed with Evan. They felt heavy, but necessary. Evan stayed silent for a long time. The story had struck something deep inside him. For the first time, he didn't feel defensive or confused. He felt clear. Painfully clear. He saw himself in that man standing before the closed gates. Waiting. Delaying. Believing there would always be another chance. And just like that man, Evan realized how close he was to losing his own opportunities. He looked up at Mr. Rowan, his voice steady but serious. He promised to change. Not tomorrow. Not someday. But now. That day, Evan went home with a different mindset. He stopped waiting for motivation and started valuing action. Small steps. Simple discipline. One task at a time. And slowly, something remarkable began to happen. Evan didn't become successful overnight. There was no sudden miracle. But something important had changed. He began finishing what he started. He stopped delaying simple tasks. And each completed task gave him a small sense of pride. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. His teachers noticed his effort. His family saw his discipline. Most importantly, Evan started trusting himself again. Confidence grew quietly. Opportunities appeared where there were none before. Not because life became easier, but because Evan finally showed up on time for it. Respecting time didn't just improve his results. It changed how he felt about himself. He was no longer chasing tomorrow. He was living today. Now, take a moment and think about your own life. How many times have you delayed something important, believing you'd start tomorrow? A missed deadline. A goal put on hold. A chance you thought would come back. Time works the same way for everyone. It doesn't slow down for excuses. It doesn't pause for comfort. When a train leaves the station, it doesn't wait for the passenger who arrived 1 minute late. When an exam ends, extra time is never given. The difference between success and regret is often just how we use the time we already have. If this story feels personal, that's not an accident. It's meant to be. Because like Evan, you still have something precious in your hands right now. And what you choose to do with it will decide everything. Money can be earned again. Mistakes can be corrected. Even broken relationships can sometimes be healed. But time is different. Once a moment passes, it is gone forever. No apology, no effort, no power can bring it back. Many people only understand this truth after losing something important. A missed opportunity. A failed dream. A chance they thought would return. By then, the lesson feels heavy and painful. Those who respect time early in life move ahead quietly. They don't rush, but they don't delay either. They understand that small actions done on time create big results later. Time rewards those who value it. And it slowly punishes those who ignore it. The choice is always yours, but the clock never stops moving. Before this story ends, take a second to reflect. What is one thing you've been delaying that truly matters? Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. Sometimes, awareness is the first step toward change. If this story made you pause and think, share your thoughts in the comments. Your words might help someone else who is quietly struggling with the same habit. And if you know someone who keeps saying, "I'll start later," share this story with them. It might reach them at the right moment. Stories like this exist to remind us of what really matters. And here on English Story Archive, that's exactly what we aim to do. Because the right story, heard at the right time, can change a life. As this story comes to an end, remember one simple truth. You don't need more time. You need to use the time you already have. Change doesn't begin with big promises. It begins with one decision made today. Evan's life changed the moment he stopped waiting. Yours can too. Start small. Start now. Even a single step taken on time is better than a perfect plan delayed forever. Thank you for spending these moments with English Story Archive. More meaningful stories are on the way. Until then, stay patient, stay grateful, and keep moving forward. Because time will keep moving, whether we move with it or not.